Today's date is the 22nd of May 2026. And now the EAPA vouchers, I want to talk all about the EAPA vouchers and how embarrassing and awkward and humiliating they are. And what it is to call up Service New South Wales, and I think anyone that calls Service New South Wales to get an EAPA voucher, I don't think they should be questioned, because they question and say, why do you need it for? Well, anyone who's calling up that line in the first place obviously has financial hardship troubles. They're obviously having trouble paying their bill. And I don't think anyone should be questioned on this. And then they say you've got to wait up to 6 weeks, and then someone from the government will call you in regard of this. And then actually the most embarrassing part is when they call you, they can ask you more questions. I don't think they should ask you anything. Anyone who calls that line, that service, I don't think they should be questioned on it, because they're obviously having hardship and don't need to be asked a whole lot of questions like, oh, what are you spending your money on, blah blah blah. None of their business. Now, on the day that the call happens, they called our energy provider, which is actually Engie. They're okay. I think there's better out there. I tell you what though, when you don't pay your bill, Engie, they get onto you, harassing phone calls every second day, asking you when you're going to pay your bill. And also, they call me and they say, can you verify your name and your date of birth? I'm like, you called me, I'm not verifying anything. You called me. Now, it's a bit cold out here. We're at Blackheath. We're housing at Blackheath at the moment, away from our miserable unit in Sydney. And the best thing about that, our neighbours, our immediate neighbours, have no idea that we're here, because we don't tell them anything anymore. The other tenants in our section, they're good people. They're good people, but we don't tell them anything personal anymore. They have no idea we're here, because there's a certain person who lives in a unit complex who she kind of runs the joint, and she has no idea that we're here at the moment. And I cleared everything off the balcony to make it look like we've left. Anyway, we're at Blackheath house sitting on this big property. Now, in regard, and also when we do house sitting, our electricity bill goes all the way down. The last time we did house sitting for a while, ended up with a $20 electricity bill. Now, this time, in January, the electricity bill was $226. So, the government representative calls me back in April, and then they call our energy provider, and they have a two-way conversation as though you're not even there. And they say, so I've got a couple of vouchers, how much is this person's electricity bill? They say what the electricity bill is, they say, oh, this is, the most embarrassing part is I have 2 vouchers here to cover this bill, and then they ask me to verify my name again, and they verify my date of birth, which is really stupid because it's already on the system, and they get me to do that. And I don't think any questions at all should be asked in that circumstance. And as I said, we're house sitting, my partner and myself, we're house sitting at the moment, and the best thing about that is that our electricity bill will go down, and also the fellow tenants in our unit complex, as I said, have no idea that we're here. Because when I see them, I might talk about them. I say, oh, it's sunny today, or it's raining. I talk about, might talk briefly for a minute. I don't tell them anything about what we're doing or anything like that. I haven't done for some time now. They have no idea we do house sitting, and it probably takes them a week to figure out we're not there. Although, as I took everything off the balcony, and I got rid of most of that. And then on the balcony that extends to the bedroom, I put some of the pot plants out there, but I lowered them all the way, so that Christine will think we've left. Now, this is my privacy, by the way. This is where we are here, Blackheath. And so that's with the EAPA voucher. That's with the EAPA voucher. I'm entitled to them twice a year, and what happens is, they said now, don't do anything for 10 days. 10 days will go by, in 10 days the voucher will go through, you'll receive an email, then go in and pay the remaining amount, which is $26. So I did that. What happens 3 days later? The energy company, they call me, why haven't you paid your bill? And they say, they call me and say, can you please, it's all outsourced, can you please verify your name and your date of birth? And I'm like, you called me, and I said, you called me, you've got my name, you've got my date of birth, also the EAPA voucher, it's taking a few days to go through, it's taking about 9 days to go through. When I receive the email that it's gone through, I'm going to pay the remaining amount of $26. Is that on your records? What's the very next thing they said? Can you please verify your name and your date of birth? And I'm like, okay, so I've said everything to you, bye. But I was getting a phone call almost every day now. I was getting a phone call from the energy company harassing me, even though the EAPA voucher has been put through. Getting that phone call, and I was going to let the whole thing go for another month, and I got to the point 3 days ago where I was like, I'm sick of getting these phone calls, and I'm sick of getting the emails, because when you have not paid your bill for a while, they harass you. $1 billion company who harasses people. And so what I do now is, 3 days ago, I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to pay the bill, the latest bill, which ended up being $356. I took it on the chin, and they're off my, it takes 3 days to go through. Yesterday I received a phone call from them again. I didn't answer it, but I knew it was them, because I did it via BPay, and it takes 3 days to go through apparently. I was like, you know what, I copped this one on the chin, and they'll just leave me alone. And the next bill, because we're house sitting, and we're going to get another gig after this. Eventually getting out of where we are, getting out of the unit complex where we are. We're going to get out of there, tired of fucking paying rent, ridiculous amount of rent for the circumstance we're in there. So the EAPA vouchers, look, they're embarrassing to do. The process is not great. The questions, depending on the person I got this time was very good, didn't ask, but I've had people in the past who have asked me 5 questions, like, can you stop asking me these questions? I can't pay the bill. I'm a concession. And they're like, why can't you pay the bill? Where are you spending your money? I'm like, I've ended up saying to them, not really your business. And they're like, I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to figure out where all your money goes. Not your business. To the point where the call was almost concluded because they felt that I wasn't cooperating. No, I was cooperating. It's not necessary for you to ask me all those questions, because it's obvious that I call this line because I'm in hardship. And I don't think any questions should be asked.